Hello, EctoSage here on the Sage channel. It is Sleep, Art, Game, and Eat, and one of the biggest updates to this game that we have ever had just came out today. And it added something quite amazing. Really quickly, we'll do New World, and this looks quite familiar, doesn't it? And Custom World, and suddenly the whole world has exploded in difference. Instead of having a little pull down with the different types of world, we actually have a whole assortment of these now. We got our Easy Start 1, which is basically the Easy Start 1 we're all familiar with a few small changes to some of the equipment on the main platform. Easy Start 2, showing a whole lot of different stuff, but again, pretty much what we're used to. Lone Survivor, again, pretty much what you're used to. The little landing gear changes that we had semi-recently, and then of course with the changes that have recently come to the basic starting platforms that we're seeing in this update. And then onto Asteroids. Now Asteroids basically puts you in a small starter ship, basically, heading towards a large asteroid field so you can look around. Crashed red ship. Well, you're in a crashed red ship. Start from there. 2 platforms. I'm assuming that's just 2 of the platforms. Oh, look, it is. So you got 2 nice little platforms there. And then an empty world, which as per usual is just a large empty world. Now, we're going to go up to our Lone Survivor, which is my favorite. And now we're going to look through these settings here. Now, you can start a world in either creative or survival. Now, creative is just basically going to be what we're used to with a few different things. Survival is, well, the new thing, survival, and that's what I'm going to be going into today. Now, the very first thing you might have noticed when I was clicking through all these, look at the name up here. The name changes when I click on the different ones, which is pretty cool, so it basically gives you an idea of what it is instead of just saying New World and then the date. Now it actually gives something more, but of course, this can still be renamed. So let's go ahead and rename it The Big Update, or just, how about The Update? So there we go, and a description, we don't need one. So anyway, survival, realistic, and you can see here, basically what this says is inventory capacity is 3 times larger, assembly requires 3 times less material, and is 3 times faster, and this is of course, your capacity is 10 times larger, the assembly requires 10 times less material, and is 10 times faster, so whole lot of faster if you don't feel like sitting around all day for realistic. For now, we're actually going to go with just the basic one. That way we can get the best feel for all. And of course, we still have our normal pull downs here as per usual. And I'm just going to set it to private. Okay, max players, well, private, nobody's going to be joining them anyway. Max objects, the devs actually suggest turning this up a bit. Of course, when you look at it, it says, warning going over 64 could possibly cause trouble. I'm just going to go and live slightly dangerously and up it all the way. But the reason they say to up it a bit from the start is because the more objects that float around, such as asteroid little bits that you've mined that you can actually pick up, or things you're dropping as you're basically building stuff, it reaches a max of 64, however you have it set to, and then the oldest objects that had appeared first start to disappear. So you got to be careful with this. Anyway, then we go to asteroid amount, and now you can change basically the amount of asteroids you're going to see. Now, again, this is something where you're going to have 16 large, solid asteroids to mine, and their warning actually be warned. You might end up with a fair bit of lag, and you actually see here in the little doodad warning or pop-up tooltip, there we go, that's what I was looking for, number of asteroids in the newly generated world. And it basically gives you an idea of what you'll expect to see in these. So we're going to go with the sort of what is basically medium, but they call it large. We're going to go with the large one. So it's going to be slightly bigger than the normal, which is what we've always had in the fast, which is basically the normal there. Anyway, now, of course, you might notice down here we have auto healing now, because of course it's survival mode, you can indeed die. So you probably want to keep that on at first until you get the best handle for the game, how it feels and stuff. And then copy and paste is actually disabled. You cannot turn it on if you're in survival mode. Of course, when we switch to creative, you can turn it on and off, but even if you do that, automatically turns it off because, of course, you're in survival mode. Autosave, I don't like that. And then weapons enabled, show player names, much the same as we've always had. This will just prevent you from using weapons, even though I'm pretty sure you'll still be able to build them. Anyway, let's just load this up now. Alrighty, so here we go. We're not actually on the world I said we were going to be on, the Lone Survivor. We're actually on Easy Start 1, because I decided it might be wise to actually have some stuff to mess around with instead of having to build it all up from scratch. So here we are. Now, you might notice a few things have changed right away. Hear that? Sounds. Well, actually, even jetpack sounds are slightly different. Also, you might notice that the overall layout has, of course, changed, as I said earlier, where we now have our refinery set up right directly above our assembler. As we learned in the previous update, if there is a door on a refinery and assembler lining up, which there is on the bottom of this and top of this, the refinery will automatically funnel its refined goods into the assembler, which we can actually demonstrate now by picking up this little stuff they sort of left us here and dropping the raw uranium into here. As you can see, it refines. It doesn't show up in the refined spot. It goes straight into the assembler here, so we can actually go down here. Voila, refined uranium. And we can actually double click and just take it out into here and put it into our reactor. That way we don't find ourselves running out of power. Oh no, power anytime soon. I did that the wrong way. That was scary. There we go. Now, if we were to run over here to our gravity generator, you might notice we have gravity 2.0. That's because we're at the bottom right, being affected by the gravity generator of that ship and this one. So if we were to shut this one off, we would instantly, of course, be going down to just one gravity generator. So there we go, down to one. But of course, that's not really necessary. I just thought it would be interesting to point out that the gravity amount is now shown at the bottom right. Now, another thing related to gravity is that if I was to fly up, let's say to here, and turn off my jetpack, well, you might see that I'm in a bit of trouble now, health-wise. At the bottom left there, you'll see that my health is now at 41, 42%. Of course, we had automatic health regeneration on, so that's going up. But at the very bottom there, you might also notice my energy is going down. Now, your energy, once that's out, it'll actually prevent you from using your jetpacks, and your health will automatically just drop. So, if I was to hop into this cockpit, or any cockpit connected to a powered ship, you'll see that my energy recharged. Now, another way to recharge your energy is to actually go over your medical bay and hold T while pointing at it. This will actually also recharge your health. So you can just sit here and your health will regenerate back up. Very, very nice. Now, what else do we have to show you? A whole world of stuff. At this point, I think it's about time to move on to the tools that they've added. And you see now I have my gun and all this stuff. And I'll actually drag it all down here to our hotbar. There we go, and these two right here are the things you're going to be needing for building and destroying. Now, of course the gun works like usual, except for now you need ammo. Unless you're in creative mode, weapons will still work just even without ammo in creative mode. But in normal survival mode, no dice. Anyway, here's our drill, here's our welder, which is for building, and our grinder, which is for destroying. Now, if you aim at anything with the welder or grinder, you'll see that little thing pop up at the bottom right. This is basically telling you what each piece is built out of and their components. Now, if you use the grinder on it, let's say this piece here, you can see it uses a total of 25 steel plates. And the reason they're above each other is because, well, as they destroy it, just watch. You can see the bar on the left goes down, and the second it gets past that red line there on the far left bar, basically the whole thing changed. When that far left bar reaches above the red point, let's say if I was building on it, that's when whatever you're building on is actually usable. So this thing, once it reaches that point, should be able to, I believe, transfer power through it, whereas before it would not have been able to. Same with these buildings, they will not work if they're below their red point. So if I was to fly over here, you can see the red point is actually much higher than the other thing we were just working on. But once it gets above that point, the thing will work even though it's not technically complete. So let's go back over here and finish deconstructing this. And as I deconstruct it, you can see it started with the top layer of steel plates, took away those 5, and now it's taking away the bottom 5, and you see it nicely deforming in front of us with its slightly loud drill sound, and there we go, voila, it's gone. And now if we were to open up our inventory by pressing K, you can see now we have all the pieces that were required to build it in here. And actually some gold, which I think I probably picked up somewhere else without realizing. Now, to place this, you can of course go ahead and, as per usual, go and use the, actually that's heavy block, which apparently just uses 150 steel plates, which we don't have. We can still place it because we have a few steel plates, but we don't have enough to actually build it, so there's no point in that. But the other one, the light armor block, here we go. And you can see now we can place it anywhere we like. Now, there is a limitation to how far away you can place it now. So let's say we want to place it, just fill in that hole, right? Make up for the damage we just done. We click, and instantly we have it showing up there. And if we were to mouse over it with our welder, it tells us that, hey, you've used up one of your 25 steel plates that you took from it to basically put down the basic line out. And let's just start building it, and it'll basically, instantly, you might notice actually, that went from 1 out of 20 at the bottom layer there up to 20 out of 20 and 5 out of 5. That's because the second you start working on something, it takes the excess supply in your inventory that is going to be needed for this and dumps it all in here. So if you're building something really, really big, that's going to take more than you can actually hold in your inventory, you can bring it bit by bit, come over to this, to a single little left click, and it'll take out everything that it can possibly use and put it in this object you're actually working on. So it's basically got its own little inventory. And there you go, you can see we're now finishing it off. Voila, nice and done. Back to 100% integrity. Very, very nice. What else do we have? Well, we have all these things over here. We could, of course, salvage some of these if we decide maybe we need these construction components, some metal grids, all this. We could tear it apart because it's not really doing any serious purpose. You can see it nicely deforming. And this is a great way to get some supplies. So you can actually see something drop there that we couldn't pick up because our inventory was full. So if your inventory is full, as we're working away at it, the little pieces should actually be dropping. Where are they? I bet you they don't show up until you're all the way down with it. So let's finish destroying it. And I suspect all these parts will just be dropped in the middle. Yep, there they all are. All little pieces from it. Very, very interesting, very, very clever. Now, of course, since our inventory is full, it would be wise to come over to something like this and just drop off our unneeded stuff in here. I'm just double-clicking to store it all in here. And, well, you can see we actually have a lot of stuff they start you out with. Now, when you're actually building stuff, it's actually pretty important. With those little blocks I was showing you, it's pretty easy just to think, okay, so you just point and click and whatever, you have these materials, you can dump them off there. Yes, you can, but let's say we wanted to build something more advanced, like a gyroscope. So what does a gyroscope need? Well, we're looking at it here, and at the left side of your screen, whenever I mouse over something, you can see it tells you what we need. For a large ship or station, at the top, it tells you we need 5 computers, 2 motors, or rotors, or, yeah, they're actually called motors there. There are 4 large steel tubes, construction components 40, and steel plates 900. And then at the bottom, for a small ship piece, well, a slightly nicer amount of steel plates, the construction components, and everything else, actually, for that matter. So let's say we want to put one of these down. We cannot even begin to place this down, even if, let's go over here, and let's say we had construction or computer components. So we know we're going to need computer components, right? Oh, I have some computer components. Why can't we start building it? You have to build from the bottom up. See, basically the list of stuff on the right side is basically different layers, and you have to start with whatever's on the bottom. Now, so let's say I go grab some steel plates now. Bingo, I got some steel plates. Boom, we can actually place it. And now if I run up to it with this, you can see we've got 1 out of 800 steel plates. We start working on it. Instantly, 5 of those computers got dropped into this. So it fills up that point, but we can't actually build to that point yet. It's just going to use up the steel plates, and we don't actually have enough to get it all the way up. You can see the steel plates went red, indicating, hey, you don't have enough of these. So you basically have to make sure you have everything. And to build up to it, it doesn't matter if you have all the other stuff, if you have all the construction components and stuff, you're never actually going to be able to finish it without the very bottom layer, because you have to build from the bottom up. Pretty interesting. Now, let's move on to mining really quickly with our nice little drill here. You can see down there some iron shows up. Once you have your drill out, it basically does these little blips, mining detection, to show you where stuff is. Now you see we got iron here on the surface, and I'm holding down T while I'm mining just to pick it up. And if I press K, well out, you can see we got our iron ore in here that we've just picked up a fair bit. And iron in this game is actually red. I guess that's actually closer to the real world, but in most games it's blue. Just remember, it's red here, more like the realistic stuff, eh? Anyway, let's go ahead and drop that iron in here. Let's take these circuits that we don't need and put them back in here. Let's go ahead and deconstruct this, because we don't actually need this here, especially considering it's a station. It's deconstructed, put the items that we used into our inventory, so we can drop those back in here. And then, of course, now that we have empty inventory, we can pick up a lot of this stuff and move it about. Now, strangely enough, I'm still reading a full inventory. Oh, that's because, very interestingly, these things here, they're stacks. Now, I click on it, and it's only 3 now. That's 40, though. You see that at the bottom, X40. Inventory's full. Can't carry all 40 of them. Let's drop those out. How about now? Can we pick up all 40? Nope, we only clicked up, what was that, 33 of them. Or 23, pardon. So we can drop those off, and now we can get them all. So you're going to end up doing a lot of runs back and forth when you're building stuff. But I think it's actually pretty cool, the idea of having to run back and forth to build stuff up. And of course, this means you're probably going to want to build a small ship with a lot of storage capacity to move stuff about and basically be your mobile building platform. Anyway, let's move on to weapons now. Since we've shown the mining, you have your little mining drill here. It points out iron and other materials that are about. And I've shown you the basics of building and all this. It's now time to go ahead and look at the weapons. Now, the weapons here, I'm just going to grab some ammo and stuff, because of course we're going to need this. And what else do we need? Aha, the big ammo containers. So there we go, we got enough of that. And actually it filled up my inventory. I don't think I can even carry anymore. So let's go ahead, take out our gun, and now that we have some ammo, these 20 magazines, we can begin firing, and no reload yet. And of course running. Oh, you can't actually run and fire anymore, but you can walk and fire, which actually kind of makes sense. You can see now we've used up 3 of those. There's no reload animation or anything right now. Now, as for using weapons on the ships over here, now they've changed them a fair bit. In creative mode, you can still hop in here and say, okay, let's go and shoot, woo! And you'll be shooting. Not like I am now, because of course in survival, it's out. But you'll actually be able to shoot even though you don't have any ammo in there. But in survival, you have to click on that little door that you can see right there on the side. Press K on that. Oh, there we go. And this one, you can see it's sort of outlined. It's just saying it needs the NATO 25 by 184 magazine thingy-majigs. Drop those in there. No, let's just put 2 in there. And then on the other side, let's go ahead and plop the other one in here. And voila, now those guns will work. You also see some of the other stuff in the ship, the small reactors, wherever they are. And then missiles. In the past, missiles actually had an access port at the back of them. Now, I believe it was the back, or maybe they're back sides. But now you have to actually load them from the front. So we'd have to go ahead and say, hey, would you kindly put some missiles in here? That way we can unload on some stuff. And same with this one over here. Much the same. You have to load it up that way. So now we're in the ship. All of our weapons will actually work. So we can begin unloading and stuff. But you can see their missiles, you use them up damn quick. As for ammo, you can see they last a while, but still not that long, and I've already exhausted all of my ammo. So you find yourself in a spotter botter pretty damn quick though. So be careful where you're aiming, or be ready to mass produce ammo. It's pretty damn cool though, actually, but whew, it's a heck of an update. Also, for some reason, it looks like the red dots are gone for aiming. It's possible they just vanished because I'm out of ammo. I think that's probably it. They were probably still there. I should have checked that. Anyway, there's that. What else do we have to show? Mining in this thing here. So let's hop in here. Go ahead and, of course, we're going to need a mining thing. Pop that out. And of course, this ship can also detect these. Now, that's not just because they have... Oops, wrong button. That's not because I have drills on it. That's actually because I have an ore detector on this ship. I believe it is... Oh, I could have sworn there was an ore detector on the ship. Maybe it is just because of the drills. I thought you required an ore detector. Ah, yes, there it is. Right there next to the cockpit, there's an ore detector. That's why we can see all these. And this ship, you might notice, has a much farther range of being able to see where ore is than the little hand drill. So you can see a whole lot farther. So let's go ahead and... Oh, some gold right here. We could grab this, right? Start mining into there. Pretty nice mining, actually. It's a lot quicker than I remember it being. It's actually pretty satisfying in a lot of ways, too. So there we go. We got that mined out, right? And unfortunately right now, you can't just do K, go to, let's say, inventory, and then say, click and drag from the ship's inventory right here into yours. You have to actually hop out of your ship. So let's fly over to where we would be unloading it. Oh, little bump there. So let's fly over here. Stop right here. I think this is close enough. And pop out. Aim at our drills, little door, and begin unloading. So there we go. We got some gold there, and I think we actually had some stone and gold in this one. Yep, stone and a bit of gold. So actually, I can't even take it all because my inventory's full now. So you basically, you're going to be doing a whole lot of running back and forth. And you now toss this in here and go ahead and refine it and drop it down into the assembler. Now, I think that's about it for mining as well. That's the basics of it. Pretty cool. You're going to be doing a whole lot of running around to different places to mine up your supplies. And if you did basically a pretty much empty world start, you're going to be doing a whole lot of stuff before you can even get to where this easy start is. It's pretty damn impressive, actually, how much stuff you'll have to do for stuff. Me personally, I get the feeling I'm going to be spending a lot of time in creative still, since the ability to break away at blocks like this creates new possibilities for really cool looking things. But at the same time, this is actually really damn fun to be able to run through this. Anyway, right before I go, I should also point out that in the production tab here, you have your assembling, which is, you can see what you've queued to assemble. So let's say we want to build a nice big turret. You can see it saying, okay, well, I'm going to have to build all these different things to build your nice big turret. But once it's done, I'll go ahead and pop your turret out. So you can see here, it's going and trying to build as much as it can. Here's what it's managed to build. It still needs to build 13 more, 30 of those, 6 of those, all that stuff. Now, you can also go to this tab. And you say, oi, I don't want all these. Would you kindly disassemble it? And it'll just go ahead and disassemble it. Now, I believe you are actually able to do what is it? This button here, which will automatically just take whatever's in the inventory and disassemble it all. Or you can, of course, click to that. So let's just test that really quickly. Yep, that automatically disassembles everything in the inventory. As far as I can tell right now, though, nothing is lost, so you're pretty alright there. And it seems like it's reset our numbers a bit here. It's Yeah, it's not up to the 20 it required originally. Anyway, that's pretty cool. I think that's about it. I'm sure there's some little things I've forgotten. I'm sure there's a lot of little changes, too, that I haven't quite noticed yet. But, overall, this is a big old update. This is changing a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, it's, times they are changing, eh? Oh, one last thing before I go. I've just remembered. Death. What happens if you actually die, right? See, I've just died there. Wonderful. I just sort of slumped over. Oh, look! I've respawned. You basically respawn at the respawn station. Now, if this thing was, let's say, destroyed... Oh, and also, by the way, when I died, I lost everything in my inventory, with the exception of my basic tools. See, I even lost my gun, which actually isn't sitting around here, which is a bit strange. But let's say this was destroyed, right? So, taking it apart, la-di-da-di-da. You can see it though, right there. It's going down between the different types of things as it's being taken apart. Ooh, it just did a big pop. Alright, so this isn't going to work. It's well below that red line, so it's definitely not going to work, right? So what would happen now if I died, right? If I fly up here, I got nowhere to respawn. Where would I come back? Oh, and I've missed, actually. Let's not fall somewhere where I can't retrieve my stuff. Surely some of this will just drop, I think. Let's just die right here now. This should be better. So there we go. Splat. Respawn in 3, 2, 1. Oh, where is this? The second you die without a respawn point, it spawns you in one of these basic little ships. Now, this is the same ship you'll get if you spawn in basically an asteroid, or I believe it's called the asteroid, like, survival mission ship, whatever, world. This is the same little ship, so let's actually get ourselves out of that. You can see it's a pretty straightforward ship. I have indeed lost all of my inventory, by the way. All gone. Maybe you'll still be there at the other place. And this basically gives you a new start. It gives you all the stuff you'll need. You got your assembler, your refinery should be somewhere. I think there's a refinery. Yep, refinery right here, stick it out the back. So it basically gives you a new start, a new respawn point, and basically a new reactor, so you got enough power to keep going for a while. Actually, I think this one might have a bit more power than the other one. So let's hop in the seat. Where are we now? Are we almost there? I could have been going a bit faster, I guess. And yeah, that's what happens if you die without a respawn point. Kind of funny. Kind of cool, actually. Let's just get over there, see if our stuff's still there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, does this ship... Alrighty, so... I've just killed myself once again because I thought that ship had better brakes, and what do you know, when I did that, it actually destroyed the respawn point that I had inside that ship. So congratulations, I've just discovered a new way to troll. Yeah, just keep crashing and killing yourself, and you'll keep getting new ships to swing into whatever's at the beacon. Brilliant. So that's my fault there, a little bit of a derp. We'll actually fly back there and see the damage I've done, and then check to see if those tools that I had left there are still there. Alrighty, we're getting on. Also, you can see our fuel time at the bottom right. You can see using these engines is definitely reducing our fuel time, but if I stop, it's of course trying to stop us now, but our fuel time should decrease once the ship actually stops properly. So there we go. And our fuel time went from 1 minute left to 28 minutes left to 11 hours once we're not moving to 2 days. Probably still going up, actually. So here we go. We're back at our base. You can see the impact of that other large yellow ship. Well, I can see parts of it, but I don't know where most of it went, so that's a little worrisome. As for the stuff that we dropped when we died, not really seeing much but a grinder here. So looks like definitely don't die with a lot of important stuff in your inventory. From the looks of it, it's just deleted. Anyway, for real now, thank you a bunch for watching. I hope this was relatively informative. Yeah, the whole world's just gotten turned upside down in a lot of ways. Whew, blimey. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys you're gonna have to play this game, mate. Guys, buddies, pals, you gotta play it now. Well, I've seen a lot of you say, hey, I'm not playing it till survival comes in. Survival's in. It's actually pretty robust. I'm surprised at how robust it is right now. Just make sure you keep an eye on your energy bar at the bottom left, or else you'll die and lose everything in your inventory. Anyway, thanks a bunch for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. stuck here. Inventory can't be full.